on our backs. Knees, feet on the mat, knees touching. Taking nice even breaths. Settling in. Erasing those thoughts of, oh, I wish I was still lying in my bed. And knowing that what we're going to do for ourselves for the next hour is just as important. On your next inhale, count to 3 as you inhale. An inhale of a 1, 2, 3, and then hold it at the top. See if you can hold it for 2 seconds. Then slowly exhale in that same 1, 2, 3 pattern. Go ahead and repeat that. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, holding at the top. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, holding at that bottom. Continue inhaling and exhaling in that slow rhythmic pattern and feel where your air is going. Is your breath going to your chest? Is the breath filling up your lower back? Is the breath filling your belly? There's no specific location that it needs to be in. Just going with natural Saturday morning here. And if you're finding that that breath is going into just the chest, we'll go ahead and try and shift it to the back. See if you can fill up your back space. Get yourself as flat against the mat as possible, against that floor. Feeling the rib cage along the back expand. And after you've spent a few breaths there, change locations to maybe the belly or maybe the chest if you already have done the belly. We should always be mindful that we're not shrugging our shoulders on the breath. Our shoulders should never move on our inhale or on our exhale. Let's take one more slow inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it at the top for 1, 2. Then exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can let your breath return to its normal even rhythm, whether it's through your nose or through your mouth, whatever's best for you during this fine allergy season. And let's start to wake up the fingers. Maybe just move them around on the mat. Rock the head from side to side. Don't make any motions too jarring or too quick. Just slowly head to the right and head to the left. And settle that head back into the center and separate the knees ever so slightly. And then go ahead and rock the knees from left to right, dropping them to one side, bringing them back through center. Remembering to engage the core every time the knees come back up. And then one more time, let's go ahead and settle in on the left. Maybe the arms are farther out to the side. Knees are splayed separately. If it's comfortable for you, you can take that left foot and place it on top of the right to pull down a little bit farther on that hip area. Or if you need to, you can place a block underneath that right leg that's probably not quite touching the floor yet. Keeping our natural breath, maybe sending the breath to that right hip space, giving it some life this morning. And then engage the core, make it nice and strong in the center. Take a nice inhale and bring the legs up. And exhale, release the legs down to the right. Maybe it feels a little different on this side. The right side could be tighter than the left. Feel free to take that right foot and place it on top of the left leg. It's not directly on the knee, it should be on the thigh. To open that hip up a little bit more. Keeping those shoulders flat against the mat. And the breath even and full. Sending that breath maybe to the left hip space. Or even to the lower back. Some of you might feel some stretch in the lower back here. Release the right foot if it's over top of the left. Engage that core. Bring the legs back up to center. And on the exhale, bring the legs into your chest. Bend those knees into your chest. Taking a moment to rock from side to side here. Then take a few clockwise circles, massaging out that lower back. And then a few counterclockwise circles. And then once returned to the center, place the arms back out as a T and drop the legs over to the left. Our knees now should be above our hips, closer to our heart space, that borderline there of where our hips cross. That first side stretch we did with our legs splayed to the side is a restorative pose. Our knees are below our hips. Right now, our knees should be above our hips. This is now a fire breathing space. This is an energy building, a power building pose. It's a twist. It's an excellent twist for the kidneys and for the liver, for those of us that have imbibed along the way. Trying to keep those shoulders flat against the mat. The knees might be slightly offset depending upon your hip structure. You can give it a little extra boost. You can push that right hip a little bit farther forward if it helps with the stretch. But really, you're just going to relax here. You should feel a stretch across the top right shoulder. You should feel a little stretch along the lower back. Take one more deep inhale here. And an exhale. And then on the inhale, bring those legs back up to center. And exhale them over to the right. Again, the higher your knees are, the more energy building it is, but it should only be to a comfortable level. Let's take one more deep inhale here. And an exhale. Then on that next inhale, engage the core. Bring those legs back up to center. Give them a nice tight squeeze into the chest. And this time, let's rock forward and back along the spine. And maybe on your third or fourth rock, if you can rock yourself up to seated, then let's come to seated. If you're not quite able to rock up there, that's okay too. You can just come to seated. Sitting at the top of our mat in our easy seated pose, one leg crossed in front of the other. Let's go ahead and lift our arms up on an inhale, sitting up nice and tall. Exhale, drop the left hand behind you, bring your right hand to your left knee, looking over that left shoulder for a twist. Inhale, we sit a little bit taller. Exhale, we twist a little bit farther. Inhale the arms up overhead, untwisting to the center. And exhale, drop the right hand behind you, left knee to right, left hand to right knee. Keeping the breath steady, increasing that height on an inhale, increasing that twist on the exhale. Inhale the arms back up to center, and the body to center. Exhale the hands down to the mat beside you. Let's go ahead and extend just the left leg. Extend the left leg out to the side. You're going to keep the right leg as tucked in on your thigh as you can. It might need to be closer to your calf or to your knee. Just don't rest it on the knee. We're not going to be putting any pressure there anyway, but we want to tuck that leg in. So you're kind of making a strange four with your body here. Sitting up nice and tall, raise the arms up on the inhale. On the exhale, take your left hand and try to grab your left foot and then curve the body over on the right. Feeling a full right side stretch, probably from the top of that shoulder blade all the way down the right side. On the inhale, we kind of rise up just a little bit, and exhale, we sink a little bit farther. If you're not able to reach your foot, this is where that strap comes in handy. You can put the strap around your foot and use your left hand to hold on to that strap. Inhale, come rising up. Bring both hands up to center. And this time on the exhale, just slightly turn the body to face the leg. So your chest space is now facing at that left foot. Take a good inhale. And on the exhale, we're going to fold our body forward towards the foot. If you can reach the foot, great. Go ahead and wrap the hands around that foot. If you need the strap, feel free to do that. Trying to remember to shine that heart space forward, keeping the back from being too rounded. If you can see, turn my positioning here. Notice how my back space is straight as I'm pressing forward. I don't want to be rounded too much. Just round it a little. We sort of bring ourselves up a little bit on the inhale, and we sit a little bit deeper on that exhale. On the inhale, release the foot or the strap, bring the hands up overhead. Exhale, drop the left arm behind you like we did when we were seated. And we're going to take this right hand and we're going to try to grab the outside of our left foot. So I rotate my hand just a little bit. I reach that left side of my foot. And now I'm in a seated twist here. Again, if you can't quite reach your foot, feel free to use the strap. This gives a bit of a different sensation. You kind of feel like a straight line from the top of your right shoulder, kind of pulling all the way down your back into your hip. The left arm is behind you, just kind of giving support so that we don't fall over. On the next inhale, we're going to raise the arms, raise the chest, raise the body back to center. Exhale the arms down to the side, and then switch our feet. Excuse me. If you need to, if you're finding that your knee, that bent knee is sort of floating and it feels unsupported, you could always stick a pillow or a block underneath. That way you're not fighting the gravity, pushing it down. It's better to be here. It all depends on your knee bone structure, your hip bone structure, that flexibility and so forth. Let's go ahead and inhale our arms up. We're going to try to get the right hand to the right foot and curve over with our left. Sort of looking up through our armpit, hoping that we put deodorant on this morning. We inhale and exhale. Feeling that side body curve all down our left side. We lift up a little on an inhale. We sink farther in on the exhale. Remembering to use the strap if we can't quite reach our foot with our hand. Inhale, we return the arms up, body to the center. Exhale, we turn ever so slightly to face that foot. We take a good inhale, and then on the exhale, we bring both hands to the feet or strap, whatever's going to get us there, pressing our heart space forward. If you need to adjust that bent leg, for me, I can actually feel a difference here now that I've shifted my body. I need to bring my foot out a little bit because my knee does not appreciate that twist, and I stick a block underneath. Shining that heart space forward, rising up a little bit on the inhale, and sinking down farther on the exhale. Inhale, rise up to center. Place that right arm behind you, and we're going to take our left hand, rotate it just a little bit to see if we can get to the outside of our right foot, taking the seated twist. Again, maybe feeling it from that top shoulder all the way down to that lower back, lower hip area. Go ahead and inhale, bring the arms back to center, body back to center. Place the two legs out in front. Just give them a little shake as needed, especially if that knee was sore from being bent. And we'll find our way into tabletop. Remember, with tabletop, we want hips above the knees, shoulders above the wrists at that 90-degree angle. Let's take a moment here and take some really big circles. So we're going to push our hips way back, and we're going to swing our body around in great big clockwise circles, falling forward and pushing back. Maybe 3 clockwise circles, and then 3 counterclockwise circles. Just getting that fluid going into the joint. And returning to a neutral tabletop. On the inhale, we're going to drop the belly, raise the gaze for our cow. And we're going to exhale, round it all out to a cat. Inhale, cow. Arching that back, lifting the heart space. Exhaling to that cat, rounding everything out the other side. Rotating the pelvis and the hips ever so slightly. Let's take one more inhale. And one more exhale. Excuse me. Returning to that neutral tabletop. Extend the left arm out from you. and lift it up towards the ceiling. So we have a little bit of a body twist here. Hips are staying somewhat square. Right arm is still on the mat. Left arm is in the air, reaching towards the ceiling. Take a nice inhale, and on the exhale, thread that left arm under the right, coming to rest on your shoulder on the mat, threading the needles. And take a moment to sink in here, feeling the stretch along the lower part of the shoulder. And you can stay here. If this is your comfort position, if this is what you like, then stay here. Or if you'd like it to level it up a little bit, you can take the right foot and extend it behind. So we're balancing on our left knee, left shoulder, right hand. And if this isn't good enough for you, then you can go ahead and lift that right leg up. But if your intention is to get the shoulder stretched, then keep the two knees on the mat. On the hand, you get a little bit more of that shoulder stretch there. And a little bit of a twist. Take one more inhale. On the exhale, extend that arm back up towards the ceiling. Then release it to the mat. Let's go ahead and extend the right arm out to the side. Reach it up towards the ceiling. And then thread the needle through. Coming to rest down on that shoulder. Again, feel free to play along here. As we discussed yesterday, nobody can see us doing this. If you fall over, no one's going to know. You could be laughing hysterically right now because you tried to take your leg, stick it up behind you. Maybe you got real fancy and took that arm that's down on the mat and tried to grab your foot, but the only thing you're resting on is your right shoulder and your right knee. Let's take one more inhale here. And on the exhale, bring yourself back up, reach towards that ceiling, then return to neutral tabletop. Let's go ahead and tuck those toes behind us, lift up on those knees, and push up into our first down dog of the day. Maybe walking out our dog here, letting the left foot and right foot move, letting the knees move. I don't know if you can hear that mine are cracking. I'm not sure how detailed the AirPod picks up the sound, but they're cracking all over the place. Remembering if your heels aren't touching the ground on your first down dog of the day, that's okay. Bent knees are fine as long as arms are straight, pulled away from the wrists. Head is in line with the shoulders. Maybe you find it's better to have a wider down dog stance, like your feet are on either side of the mat. Maybe you like a closer down dog. It's kind of up to you. Just give it a second to play with. Give it a try. And then we'll come back to a neutral down dog, a stable down dog. Take an inhale, come way up on the toes. Send the hips up higher. Exhale, glide yourself forward to a high plank. Inhale, lift those hips way up in the back. Exhale, drop the heels. Inhale, way up on those toes, sending those hips higher. Exhale, come forward, high plank. Inhale, send those hips way up to the back. Exhale, heels down to mat. Inhale, up on those toes, sending those hips up higher. Exhale, forward to a high plank. Feeling those core muscles engage. Wrists over shoulders, trying not to go too far. Keeping that back straight, gaze set forward. Inhale, push those hips back. Exhale, release the heels to the mat. Let's take a quick moment to come down onto our knees into our first child's pose. Maybe taking a moment here, kind of release the wrists. We did just a bit of work with them. And let's come back up into tabletop and actually flip that left wrist over, feeling that reverse. And bring the left wrist back and switch over that right wrist. Switching back that right wrist, tucking our toes, lifting our knees, pushing back into that downward facing dog. Let's go ahead and walk our hands forward to meet, or so walk our feet forward to meet our hands. Wrong body part there. And forward fold in the front. Bend your knees a lot, place your hands on your knees and come rolling on up into standing. There are two main ways to get from standing down to the mat, and we do them interchangeably. You can forward fold or you can swan dive, and it's really your choice. So I want to do a couple movements of those to give people a chance to feel them out, and then you can decide which one you like. So let's go ahead and inhale the arms above our heads. And bring your hands together. And I want you to forward fold. So it's like you're going to take your prayer hands, you're going to run them down your face, bending your knees, kind of using those thumbs as a guide until you come all the way down to the mat. Not the forward fold. When you do that type of from standing to forward fold, when you take those hands together and you run them down the face of your, down on your face, down your body with your knees bending, you should come back up in the same way. So if you forward fold with knees bending, you need to rise up with knees bending. When you bend your knees, make sure you round your back. You should never come up with a straight back and round knees. So bend those knees a lot, place the hands above the knees, round up to standing if you're not already there. I'm gonna turn and show that from another angle just so we can see it again. So we inhale the arms overhead. We place our hands together and we exhale, we forward fold down the front of our body. It's almost like you're melting right into it. Knees are bending, back is arching, arms are coming down. And when we stand back up, we bend those knees, we place our hands on our knees, we push the back space out like a cat, and we roll up to standing. That's one method. The second method is the swan dive and the reverse swan dive. We inhale the arms up. And when we swan dive, we think about the high divers like the Greg Louganeses. We push our arms out to the side. We kind of tighten our back, kind of tighten those bums. Keep our back straight, legs straight, and we swan dive. We fold ourselves in that perfect line down to that forward fold. When we swan dive down to reverse it, we keep our legs straight, we keep our back straight, we keep our hands out to the side, and we come back up. Hands usually rise up and then return to heart center. So we'll practice that again. We inhale, the arms go up. We exhale, we push our arms out to the side, we keep our legs straight. There's a little slight bend in our back, chest are forward. We fold to our swan dive. To reverse the swan dive, we keep the legs straight, we straighten out that back, we push our arms out to the side, and we rise up, hands overhead, coming back to heart center. They're entirely interchangeable. If in class you don't feel like swan diving, you want to forward fold, and I say inhale, arms up, swan dive down, and you want to forward fold, knock yourself out and forward fold. Just remember that when you come back, you bend your knees a lot, you push your hands above your knees, and you roll yourself up to standing. If I tell you to forward fold and you don't want to forward fold, you want to swan dive, then you inhale those arms up, you push your hands out to the side, you bend forward, keeping legs and back straight. Just remember that when you return, you need to come back up in a reverse swan dive. Excuse me. I know we have a few people that are newer to the yoga and maybe don't realize that. That's one of the best things about yoga. You don't have to do a single thing the instructor tells you to do. You can modify everything to meet yourself. There are some times when I love to forward fold. There's some times when I love to swan dive. It depends on the day. Let's inhale the arms up. Exhale to a little back bend. Inhale back to center. Take the left hand and bind the right wrist. Exhale, crescent moon to the left. Inhale, rise up. Switch the hands. Exhale, crescent moon to the right. Inhale, rise up. Little exhale, back bend again. Inhale to center. Bring our hands down to our heart space. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, swan dive forward or forward fold. Inhale to your halfway lift straight back, same thing. Place the hands on the mat, step the left foot back and the right foot back, high plank. If you want to go ahead and chaturanga, feel free. If not, drop your knees, drop your chest, 8-point posture. Right, come forward, cobra. Tuck those toes, push back up through tabletop, downward facing dog. Holding here. Take a nice inhale and walk those feet on the exhale back up to the hands. Forward fold. Inhale to your flat back. Exhale, fold. Depending on which way you made it down to the mat will depend on which way you come back up. So if you forward folded, you roll up. If you swan dive, you reverse your swan dive. Hands above your head. Exhale to heart center. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, swan dive or forward fold forward. Inhale to your straight back, halfway lift. Exhale, bring your hands to the mat. Step just the left foot back into that runner's lunge. Maybe you use blocks here. Maybe you just keep a nice solid base. We're keeping up on that back left toe. Our right knee is above our ankle. Feeling that length from the back of our foot all the way up to the top of our head. Rise up, crescent lunge. Slight flexion in that back knee. Take a good inhale, and on the exhale, reach the right arm back, left arm forward, west side stretch. Feeling that twist. Inhale, arms return to center. Exhale, bring your hands to the mat. Step the left foot forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to that halfway lift. Step the right foot back. Runner's lunge. Keeping up on those toes. Inhale, rise up, crescent lunge. Slight flexion in that back knee. Shining those hips forward. Biceps are next to the ears. Shoulders are pushed away. Take a nice inhale, and on the exhale, bring the left arm back, right arm forward. West side stretch. Trying not to drop that back right hip, keeping them square. Inhale, arms back up to center. Exhale, release the hands to the mat. Step the right foot forward to meet the left. Forward fold. Inhale to your halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reverse your swan dive. Hands come up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, bring your hands up over your head. Exhale, swan dive forward. That forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, place your hands on the mat. Step that left foot back, runner's lunge. Drop the back knee, untuck the toes, rise up, low lunge. Take a nice inhale, and on the exhale, left arm forward, right arm back, west side stretch. Inhale, arms back up to center. Excuse me. Exhale, bring your two hands to the left side of that right foot. Turn that right foot out 45 degrees. Maybe twist that back knee into your lizard pose. Maybe you can drop down to your forearm in your lizard, that famous lizard that we talked about there for a little while. Inhale, bring your hands back to the mat if you weren't already there. Exhale, turn that right foot back in, bring the right hand outside the foot, lift up on those back toes, runner's lunge. Step the left foot forward to meet the right, forward fold. Inhale to your halfway lift. Exhale, place your hands on the mat, step the right foot back, runner's lunge. Feel that stretch in that open space. Drop the back knee, flip those toes, rise up, low lunge. Maybe you have to inch that front foot forward some, make it feel comfortable. Take a nice inhale, and on the exhale, reach that left arm back, right arm forward. Excuse me, west side stretch. Inhale, arms come up to center. Exhale, bring the two hands to the outside or to the inside of that left foot. Turn the left foot for a 45-degree angle. Spin that back knee so you're not resting on that back knee. You can do lizard on this side. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you come down to the forearms. Maybe you realize you can only come down to the forearms on one side. I can't quite get my left arm down. Bring our hands back underneath us. Turn that left foot back to face the front. Bring the left hand outside the left foot. Bring back on those toes, runner's lunge. Bring that right foot forward, forward fold. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Reverse your swan dive. Exhale, hands to heart center. Excuse me. Inhale, Utkatasana. Sit back like you're in a chair. Arms come up, biceps level with ears, shoulders away from the ears. When we're sitting in a chair, you should be able to lift and wiggle your front toes. Holding that Utkatasana here. Maybe you kick your pelvis out. Maybe you rotate your pelvis in. It's what feels best for you. If you're not sure, go ahead and take that couple of turns, hands on hips, rotating in and out until you find what's comfortable. Sit a little lower. Sit a little lower. One more time, sit a little lower. Exhale, hands through heart center, forward fold. Inhale to your halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees a lot, place the hands above the knees, go rolling on up to standing. Inhale back to that Utkatasana. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center. And then take the upper body and the arms and twist it to the left. Hips are staying square, knees are facing each other, we're just twisting to the left. Maybe you can hook the elbow. Maybe you choose to open your arms. But no matter what you're doing here, you're keeping those hips facing forward, knees together. Exhale, forward fold to center. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Let's go Utkatasana again. Bring those hands to heart center. This time we're going to twist to the right, keeping those hips square, knees forward. Maybe you hook that elbow. Maybe you open. Exhale, forward fold. Just let those legs get a little bit of space here. Inhale to your halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Place the hands above the knees, bend those knees. Come rolling on up to standing. Take a quick loosening of those legs, quick waterfall maybe, whatever feels good. Excuse me. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, bring those hands to heart center. Take an inhale and twist to the left. Shift the weight onto the left foot. Lift up the right. Ever so slowly extend the right foot behind you. Revolved, half moon. Maybe you fall over on your coffee table here. Maybe you use a block. Keeping your drishti point. Rotate your body back to center. Warrior three. Twist your body towards the right. Open those arms. Half moon. Bend that front knee a lot. Drop the back leg. Foot parallel to the mat. Warrior two. Inhale, gentle warrior. Excuse me. Exhale, warrior two. Keeping your warrior legs if possible, go ahead and reach for your strap if it's nearby. Hopefully it's nearby. Make the strap as long as possible. Put your arms behind you in your warrior two position. A lot of times our arms are not aligned the way they should be. If we have our arms in our warrior two position and it's the correct position, you should feel that strap across your arms and across the back of your shoulders. If the strap is dropping, then tighten it a little bit. But if it's not touching you, then your arms are not aligned. Looking out over those hands. Inhale, gentle warrior. Exhale, warrior two. Reach forward, reverse your warrior, holding that strap still. Exhale, side angle. Again, holding that strap still. Release the strap in the top hand. Rotate internally that top hand until it falls along your back. So you, right arm's extended, we rotate it internally, our thumb's facing the back, then we bend the elbow and our hand is against the small of our back. The arm that's leaning against your thigh, see if you can reach it between your legs and grab your hands. Most of us probably cannot do this. And not only that, in the process, we have completely fallen forward. Our chest space is completely closed off. So let's take a quick reset. Reset those warrior two legs. Reset that side angle. Place the strap in the hand that's resting on the knee. So it should be your left hand resting on the knee. Right arm's extended. Internally rotate. Bring it back behind you. Reach the strap through to that other hand. Notice how as we now have both hands on the strap, we can keep that heart space open. So I'm going to turn myself around here again. We can keep our heart space open this way by having the strap. Whereas if we try to reach our hands, we have a tendency to completely fold in. If you're comfortable, you can step that back foot in. You can come back up on that back foot to rising up into your bird of paradise. You fall over and break your neck. Hopefully you don't do that. Exhale, release the bind, release the hands, rise up, reverse your warrior. Exhale, bring those hands down to the mat. Step that left foot back, lower so slowly, chaturanga. Rise up, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take an inhale on the exhale, walk those feet forward to meet the hands. Have to remember how we got there. Inhale to your halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Excuse me. Inhale, bend those knees a lot. Hands on the knees, come all the way up to standing. As we move back into our Utkatasana. Exhale, hands to heart center. This time we twist to the right. We shift the weight to our right foot and we lift up that left. Maybe you just stay here. If you've got balance here, you stay here. Or we straighten that front leg, We kick the left leg back, revolved half moon. Shift the gaze, twist the body, facing down, warrior three. Opening up to the other side, we open to a full half moon. Maybe using our blocks here for balance, or the coffee table if it's in front of you. Bending that front leg, stepping back ever so slowly into our warrior two. Again, check that arm alignment. Making sure if we want to, we can use that strap. The strap should be touching our back shoulders in our arm alignment. Inhale, gentle warrior. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, gentle warrior. Exhale, warrior two, and settle. Reach forward, reverse your warrior. Exhale to your side angle. You can hold here in your side angle if you want. You can drop that strap, keeping it in the lower hand. Internally rotate the top hand, bend it behind you, reach the strap through, maybe. There we go. Both hands are on. My chest space is open. I'm binding with that open chest space. If you would like to give Birds of Paradise a try, we'll give it a try. If you want to just stay here in your bind, great. Step the back foot forward to meet the front. Come up on those front toes. Shift the weight to the back foot, lifting the front. Kicking that leg out. Not as good at Birds of Paradise on this side. If you're in your bird, take your time releasing. If not, go ahead and release the strap. Rise up, reverse that warrior. Exhale, windmill the arms down. Runner's lunge. Step that right foot back to meet the left. High plank. Lower chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathing here. Inhale the left leg up behind you. Bend the knee, spin open. Allowing that hip opener up there. Step the left foot between the hands. Runner's lunge. Rise up, crescent lunge. So we're up on that back toe still, crescent lunge. Bring our hands down to heart center. Shift the upper body forward and then twist over the knee to the left. Maybe you can hook the elbow. If your hands shift from your heart space, then don't hook that elbow. Maybe you open. Stretch it out a little bit farther. Wherever your arms are, bring those hands back to heart center. Inhale, we return to center. Rise up, crescent lunge. Exhale, hands come down to the mat. Left foot steps back to meet the right. Maybe chaturanga ekapada. We lower. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg up behind you. Bend the knee, spin open. Take a good inhale, and on the exhale, step that right foot between the hands. Runner's lunge. Rise up, crescent lunge. Bring the hands to heart center. Shift the body forward. Twist to the right. All those options we had on the left still apply here. Hooking the elbow, opening the arms, whatever feels good to you. Inhale, bring the body back to center. Rise up, crescent lunge. Exhale, bring our hands back down to the mat. Step the right foot back to meet the left. Lower chaturanga, maybe ekapada. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Holding here. Inhale that left leg up behind you. Bend the knee, spin open. Bring that left knee to the left elbow, high plank. Exhale, send the left leg back up to the ceiling. Bring that left knee over to the right elbow, high plank. And then holding here, just shift the left knee back over to the left elbow. And to the right. And to the left. And to the right. And one more time back to the left. We drop it down to the mat for our pigeon. Maybe you keep your pigeon upright. Maybe you drop down to the forearms. Maybe you rest your head on a block. Go ahead and place our hands back underneath our shoulders. Tuck those back toes, lift up the leg. Send that left leg back. Do whatever feels good on the left side. I like to make big circles with my left leg. Sometimes I like to cross it over the right to get an IT band stretch. If you're doing pigeon on your back, you might find a different way that you like to move. Excuse me. Let's take 2 more breaths wherever we are. Return to our downward facing dog, or if you're doing pigeon on your back, return to your neutral spine. Let's inhale that right leg up behind us. Bend the knee, spin open. On the exhale, bring the right knee to the right elbow, holding here on that high plank. Send that right leg back up. Bring the right knee to the left elbow, holding in that high plank. And keeping this high plank position, shift that right knee back over to the right elbow. And to the left, to the right, to the left. One more time to the right. Turn it forward, come down to your pigeon. Excuse me. Go ahead and place those hands back on the mat. Tuck those back toes, lifting yourselves back up, doing what feels good for that right leg. Take 2 more breaths, doing what feels good for you. And then we'll return to our downward facing dog. If you're already on your back, stay on your back. If you're not on your back yet, that's where we're going. If jumping through is in your practice, or you want jumping through to be in your practice, I suggest 2 blocks to start. You lift up your down dog a little bit. You come up on those toes, you bend the knees and set your gaze. And then when you jump, you send those feet right through. You wake your dog up on the couch who's been snoring. And you have a laugh if you make it. If you don't make it, you don't make it. No big deal. Excuse me. We're going to leave our feet flat on the floor, and we're going to come down ever so slowly. And we're nice and flat on our back. If you have a block or a pillow or something nearby, I want you to place it underneath your sacrum. So you're going to lift your feet up in the air. You're going to place that block just under your sit bones. If it's a cork block, it might hurt a little bit. The pillow might be a better option. You kind of wiggle it around till you have it in the right spot. And we're just going to leave our feet up in the air. This pose is very nicely called legs against the wall. If you have a wall readily available, feel free to go right up against it. Gives a chance for our blood that's in our legs to reflow back to our heart. It's an inversion. It's one of the simplest of inversions, and we didn't do any other inversions today. Maybe you wiggle your toes. Maybe you make some circles. Maybe you spell out your name or say the alphabet. It's very important that we get our ankles moving every day, that we do more than just walk on them. They do a lot for us in their little space. If you want to take your legs up the wall pose a step farther, you can place the backs of your arms and lift your hips up to a shoulder stand. So the palm of your hand is on the small of your back in your shoulder stand. There's no more benefit here to a shoulder stand than there is to a legs up the wall stand, other than you get a little bit more height, but it's still achieving the same thing. When you come down from a shoulder stand, make sure you roll those vertebrae in the spine. You should hit right back on your block. Let's take one more inhale here. Exhale the feet back down to the mat. Remove the block or pillow if you have a block or pillow. Bring those knees into the chest. Using the first two fingers, bind your big toes. Maybe you stay here in a happy baby. Maybe you bring your legs out and rock from side to side, making yourself a dead bug. Or maybe you straighten the legs for a wide angle. Whatever feels good. Just rocking back and forth here. Maybe you can only do one leg at a time. One leg at a time is fine. Maybe you just straighten the right leg, keeping the left one bent. Whichever you do on one side, make sure you do on the other. Release the bind. Bring the right leg to the ground, keeping the left knee in. Hug that left knee into your chest space. Give it a little rock from side to side. Drop the left arm out like a T, and then use that right arm to pull the left knee over for a full body twist. Keeping those shoulders against the mat. Allowing that twist along the back. Settling that left leg in. Inhale, bring that left leg back to center. Give it a nice, good squeeze. Exhale, full body stretch, side out. Inhale the right leg in. Hug it tightly to your shoulders and your chest. Maybe rock from side to side. When you're ready, extend that right arm out to the side. Pull the left leg, or pull the right. Use the left hand to pull the right knee over. Sometimes words are hard. Trying to keep those shoulders flat against the mat. Feeling that full body twist. Inhale, bring that right knee back to center. Give it an excellent squeeze in. And on the exhale, full body stretch side out. Settling in here for our Shavasana, whatever is comfortable for you. Maybe it's corpse pose where your feet are on the side and your hands to the side. Maybe you like having your knees bent and that lower back supported on the mat. Maybe you want to do fish like we did the other day, where you take that first block, you place it at the small of your back, and you put the second one behind your head so that you're supported, opening those shoulders, and you just relax. Think about all the wonderful things your body has done for you so far this morning. Start to bring awareness to the space around you. Wiggling those fingers and toes, maybe rocking head from side to side. Now's a good time to remove any props you've used in your Shavasana, no matter how good they feel. As I continually tell myself I have to move out of this position, but I do not want to. When you're ready, we'll meet on our right side. Remembering that right side symbolizes our rebirth of the day, our restart of the day, a refresh. When you're ready, we'll come up to seated. And per usual, if you can turn your sound back on and your videos back on. I think I got rid of the spotlight video. We can see one another. Sitting up nice and tall, we bring our hands to our heart space and our thumbs to our third lips and to our third eye. In a gesture of respect, we bow to one another. Oops, sorry, I skipped a part. From the light that shines in me to the light that shines in you. We bow to one another and say, Namaste.
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 Thank you for the privilege of being your teacher. I hope you enjoyed